Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Mindy Eggen. Today I'm going to be sharing a few things that I'm loving right now, including ink blending and hot foiling. Now, whenever a holiday is done, I usually will go through my stamps and put away, for instance, all of my Christmas stamps that I can't really use throughout the year. I am very limited in space, so by doing this helps me make some more room. Now, while I was cleaning out my stamps, I came across this bundle from Gina K Designs called Fluttering Fall Layering Bundle. Now, don't let the name fool you. Even though it has fall in the name, it is definitely something that can be used year round. So I am certainly keeping this in my stash ready to have on hand and decided to dig it out and play with it today. It is a beautiful bundle. Here's a look at the bundle. It is a large 6x8 stamp set. It also has 3 layering stencils, and there's also some coordinating dies and a word die. Now, you can use just the stamp set, you can use just the stencils, or you can use them all together. For the video today, I am just going to be working with the stencils. One of my favorite things to do is ink blending, and I love Gina's designs, so this is a great way to start this out. The first thing I'm going to do is take out one of the butterfly dies and also the 2 leaves dies. I'm going to die cut them several times from layering weight cardstock. We are going to be applying the stencil over the top of our die cuts, and I find it's just easier to die cut them first. Now I did 2 butterflies, that's what I'm going to use for my card, and I have my make art station here that I like using with stencils. I'm going to take some repositionable tape and add a little bit to the back of my butterflies and place that down on the make art station. This is a magnetic plate, so I have magnets that are going to hold my stencil down. And by putting that repositionable tape behind the butterflies, that's going to hold them in place while I ink blend. I'm taking the stencil and finding the butterfly that I chose. I'm lining that up over my die cut piece. It's pretty easy to line up, and I'm just making sure that I have that fine white line around at the edge of my butterfly. Then I'm holding down that stencil with the magnets. To do my ink blending, I am using the Gina K Designs mini blending brushes, which are really great for smaller images like this. So this butterfly actually has 3 layers to it. There's 2 layers to the actual wings. I'm starting by lightly ink blending on Sea Glass ink from Gina K Designs. It's going to be a really light blue, and I just move my magnets as needed to get all around that area. Now I'm kind of working in an assembly line. I'm just going to go ahead, move that stencil down to the next butterfly since I have my Sea Glass ink out, and I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well. Now that I have my base layer done for the butterflies, I'm going to bring in the next layer of the butterfly. So this one's providing the details. Now this one I'm going to use twice, but the first thing I'm going to do is add the details in a darker blue. This is Tranquil Teal, and I'm going to add this all over that stencil there, so I'm covering all of the details for this. After I have this fully covered in that darker blue, you want to make sure you're covering all of those areas. I'm going to move the magnets and shift this down to do my second butterfly. So once again, just lining up the details of that stencil with the wings of the butterfly. In person, it is pretty easy to do. It might be a little harder to see on screen, but in person, I had no problem lining those up. Now off screen, I did clean my stencil off, and I'm bringing that same layer back in. Now this time I'm adding another color. This is Wild Lilac, and this is where the mini blending brushes really come in handy. I just want to get the center of the butterfly and just softly blend out into the wings. I don't want to cover all of the wings. I like to have that transition of the dark blue and that dark purple. I could have done this right away when I originally had that on there for the Tranquil Teal, but I found that the purple was mixing a lot with the blue and I'd have to constantly be cleaning in between, so I just found this easier, and honestly, they were pretty easy to line right back up. So now I have these beautiful multicolored butterflies, and this would look great in any color combination. Next, I have a layer that is going to be the body of the butterfly, and for this one, I am using Stormy Sky. You could use a dark brown, you could use black, but I thought the Stormy Sky was just a kind of a softer touch than a stark black to add for the body, and just went better with my card design. Now this trick of die cutting first and then ink blending really helps a lot when it comes to lining up. It's easier to line up the stencil than it is the die. To remove this from the make art station, since I have that repositionable tape behind them, I'm just going to use my tweezers and kind of pry that up a little bit and then just twist. This is going to help so I'm not bending or ripping my butterflies. Once I have those pulled off, I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to bring in my adhesive eraser and just kind of rub away that adhesive that's back there. Then I'm going to move on to doing my leaves. So there's two sets of leaves. They go in different directions. I have a few of them cut out here, and I already went ahead and attached them to my make art station with that repositionable tape behind each one. Now I'm starting out with a really, really light green. This is apple mint, and I'm going to go through all of these and do that apple mint color. Kind of the same as my butterfly. I want to get all of the color, the light color done first so I don't contaminate my colors on my die cut image. Once I have all those with the added color, I'm going to come in with Lucky Clover. So this last one I did, I just left the stencil in place and I'm adding Lucky Clover just to one side of the leaves. I'm going to move that over and repeat that same step. Once again, really easy to line back up. Now this particular stencil and die, it only has one layer to stenciling on the leaves. I'm kind of making it look like there's two of them by adding that darker color. Now, after I have all of these components done, I'm going to work on the background from our card. And this is another thing I am absolutely loving right now, and that is hot foiling. I am using the Pinkbrush Studio Diagonal Stripes hot foil plate, and I have some Hammermill cardstock, which is a really smooth cardstock, and adding Opal Glimmer foil. This is going to add just some subtle shiny interest to our background. Off on the side there, I have my Glimmer Hot Foil machine. You can see there is a green light there. That means that it is hot and ready. I added my foil to my cardstock, and then I have that Diagonal Stripes hot foil plate. Now the hot foil plate is laid on top of the cardstock. I just flipped that over. You want to make sure that the foil plate is face up and your cardstock is face down. Then I can place my plates on top, hit the timer button. That's going to blink green, and when it is done, it'll be a steady green. I can pull that and disengage my plate, my platform from the Glimmer machine and run this through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. You don't need any other platforms with this, just the Glimmer machine's platform and plates. After I pull that out, I do put my platform back on the Glimmer machine and engage that again so it's warming up, and then I can peel back that plastic piece that's on there. Then we have this extra piece. I'm going to use that since I have my hot foil system out and it's hot. I'm going to use up my scratch paper there. And here is our background. Just check out all of that beautiful rainbow shine in the background. Pinkbrush Studio also has this solid hot foil plate, and this is great for using those scraps of foil. So once again, I'm just taking this scrap and I'm laying this over the top of Hammermill cardstock. These are all cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Once I have that done, I'm going to put my hot foil plate on my Glimmer machine face up. And then I'm flipping my cardstock over and I'm going to place that on the hot foil plate. Then I can put my plates on top, and then I'm going to hit my button and let the timer go. After that's done blinking and it is a steady green, I can bring that over to my Platinum 6 and just run that through. There is going to be that film, so I want to make sure to remove this before doing any die cutting or anything else. And now I have another background that I can use. So I'll bring in the first one, and you can see they're very similar because it's diagonals. You would be able to see the difference more if I had done some words, but now I have another background ready to go. I'm going to take my original background and I'm die cutting it with the Master Layouts 2 from Gina K Designs. That's going to be the panel for my card front. And since I have my die cut machine out, I'm going to go ahead and do my sentiment. This is from the Scripty Greetings from Pinkbrush Studio. I die cut it once from a gold foil cardstock and twice from white cardstock. I'm going to attach my letters with the Gina K Connect glue. She has a larger bottle now and also sells these smaller bottles. So I pour a little bit of that glue into the smaller bottle. This smaller bottle has a super fine tip, which is great for these delicate and dainty scripty sentiments. So I just add a little dots of that liquid glue, layer up the 2 white sentiments, and then add my gold one on top. This just adds a little bit of dimension to that die cut word. Now my third thing that I am really loving right now is my white Jelly Roll pen. I love using this to either create backgrounds or add details to my images like the butterfly. The butterflies especially are really fun. I just add some white lines, like one white line and a dot on the wings, and just give it some highlights. It makes it stand out and it just looks so pretty on the card designs. I'm also going to put it on the leaves, just on one side of each one. Now that all of my components are ready, I can start assembling my card. I will be using a card front that is cut to 4¼ by 5½ in turquoise C cardstock from Gina K Designs. I used my dot runner to add adhesive to the back of my foiled panel and adding that to the front of that card panel. What I like to do when I'm starting to arrange things is I arrange everything first before I attach it or add any adhesive. So I'm bringing in my butterflies and just laying them out where I want them. Where the bottom one is creating kind of a little pocket, which is where I'm going to put my sentiment. So I still have the butterflies just sitting there, and I'm bringing in my leaves. I'm adding tape runner to the back of it and tucking them underneath the butterflies. Once I'm happy with the position of those leaves, then I can push down to really secure them down onto that card front. I'm going to pop up each of the butterflies, so I added foam squares behind my butterfly and popping that up to the front of the card. I'll do that with my second butterfly too. Now where my second butterfly is, it is going to overlap that top butterfly. So I'm only adding foam squares to the part that's not overlapping, and then I'm going to take that liquid glue, add a little bit to the tip of that wing, and that's what's going to attach it to the top, since my top one is already layered up with foam squares. The last thing I need to do is add my sentiment. So once again, just adding little dots of adhesive behind those letters. And I like to add everything with my tweezers, if you haven't noticed. I love, love, love my tweezers. I'm able to get a full visual of my card, keeping my fingers out of the way. That finishes up the card project for today of things that I'm loving right now. And I hope this has inspired you. Maybe go through your stash and clean things out. Maybe you'll stumble upon something that you forgot about or haven't used in a while, and you'll dig it out and play. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful day.